This is a fun video. With these other Traitors videos being done and focusing on the game or whatever the hell, I think it would be fun to shine light on those who didn't get that shine. When you think of the Traitors, you focus on the winners or the people who are chosen to be the Traitors. Those are the quote-unquote main characters of the show. I'm here to spread the joy. Focus on my favorite characters in the history of the Traitors. Now, when I say characters, I'm setting a few guidelines to myself and explaining what I mean when I say this to y'all. Nobody who is a traitor at any point in the game will be eligible for this list. Come on. I did a whole video talking about every single traitor, and they got enough recognition as well while the shows were airing. That will leave everybody who was a faithful as an option from any franchise. Second of all, what I mean by character is entirely up to me. Maybe they brought chaotic energy, maybe they were extremely likable and rootable, or maybe they were just great game players to watch. Whatever the criteria is, I'm going to explain, but that is overall what I'm looking for when creating this list. That left me with 10 placements, 11 players total, but I'll explain that when I get there. That's going to be my top 10 favorite characters in the Traitors across all franchises. This list is purely my own, purely my opinion, so please don't judge me too harshly. If you disagree, let me know why in the comments. I'll do my best to explain my reasoning as each player pops up, because there will for sure be hot takes in here. But they're my takes and my opinions. And if you enjoy them or are interested in my takes, take some time to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's quick and easy. It's going to mean so much more than you ever could imagine if you do, and we'd be besties forever. But I gotta stop waffling as I dive into my top 10 favorite characters in the Traitors franchise. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I wanted to do a quick little stop here to give y'all some honorable mentions that didn't quite make the list. Don't worry, I'll be quick when explaining these, but I wanted to shout out some people who otherwise I don't think would be getting the proper love as great characters. Fee from Traitors Australia Season 1 was really fun, but just not notable enough to make the top 10. I was a sucker for Amos on Traitors UK Season 1, had the mind for the game, and seemed like a really nice guy, but again, just not notable enough. I want to give a shout out to that Sam dude from Traitors New Zealand who took that $10,000 just to say hi and leave. That man is smart as fuck, respect to him. Shout out Trayvon for being the dumb faithful who made it really far in the Traitors Canada. I was low-key rooting for him at the end, and he was very close to making the list. Same with Kevin Martin. That man was committed to the game, and it would have been so cool to see him make it further, but he just didn't make the top 10 because he didn't. I don't fucking know. I love the mother-son duo of Diane and Ross on the Traitors UK Season 2. Really fun characters in their own right, but kinda got overshadowed by the Traitors and even some other faithfuls, so I couldn't get them on the top 10. And I would have been beside myself to not think about Pilot Pete as somebody who could have been top 10, but there were too many points in the season where I felt he was actually unlikable at times, and that is what stopped me from putting him in the top 10. And those are the honorable mentions, but they aren't the main attraction, so let's officially move to the top 10. My number 10 on this list is purely on here because I think this guy is extreme chaos. But I don't think he was playing it up. I kinda know he's not playing it up. And that's Zach from the Traitors UK Season 2. This guy is polarizing as fuck and has no idea when to let off the gas. No social cues. But that's what makes him fun to watch. This dude got on everybody's nerves because the whole game revolved around him in his mind. Every single roundtable, without fail. It didn't matter what was happening or who was being targeted. Zach made sure his opinion was known to everybody. It's so funny. Like, these people hated his guts by the end of it. He's just an entitled asshole, but he was such an entitled asshole that he was so obviously a faithful you couldn't reasonably vote him out. I swear the Traitors were just keeping this guy around just to mess with him and piss off the entire cast. There are a lot of factors that make a good season of the Traitors, and one of those for me personally is this person who just isn't afraid to speak their minds and isn't afraid to piss off the entire cast so they feel better about themselves. Zach was a nucleus for chaos and drama, and I'm a sucker for chaos and drama. So thank you, Zach, and I will be repaying you by putting you at number 10 on my favorite Traitors characters list. My number 9 and number 10 will be the only two that do fit into the annoying and entitled players trope, But god damn it, they're just hilarious. Matt from the Traitors Australia season 1 is so bad, he's good. This is technically the oldest season of the Traitors, so many may not remember this guy, but oh my god, was Matt a pain in the ass in the best way possible, at least for me. He, like Zach, felt that his opinion was so important that it needed to be stated at all times. Unlike Zach, however, and why he's actually higher on the list is because he didn't have many opinions that were ever changing or giving great insight. He had one single opinion. Teresa was a traitor. Nothing, nobody, no greater power, not a single thing would change that opinion. Like, I fully understand how you could think my first two picks are annoying as fuck, because they are annoying as fuck. But that is why I love them as character, because they were ridiculous and actually memorable. Dude, Matt went round table after round table, listening to all the evidence, seeing traitors be caught, seeing the dynamics change, and all he ever brought to the table or discussions was, Teresa is a traitor. He made like 2 separate truces with Teresa to not say her name, and then proceeded to say her name the very same round, both times. It got so bad that the entire group had to vote him out because he was so irrelevant and useless to actually finding the traitors. That is icon status. I don't care what anybody says. In a show where a lot of people become forgettable and fade into the background, Matt stood out. Maybe he looks stupid as fuck, but I love him for it. And he's number 9 for that very reason. Okay, maybe those two are hot takes, but if you've seen this season, this person was absolutely my comfort character and had a pretty bumpy journey, and that is Kings from the Traitors New Zealand. The Traitors New Zealand is by far the least notable season of the Traitors due to just less people watching it than the other versions, but in a season with some really smart people, Kings was just a nice himbo going throughout the season. He was so innocent the entire time, never truly knowing what was happening or who to trust. But at some point late in the game, Kings decided to actually play the game, and his master plan was to publicly call somebody out as a traitor and then instantly feel bad about it and backtrack. That was it. That was the genius of Kings. There isn't a ton to say about Kings except that he was such a sweet guy, way too sweet for the traitors, and he was wrong every time, except for the one time he faked being wrong. If you've seen this season, you understand where I'm coming from, hopefully. Kings was a likable figure, and that gets him number 8 on my favorite characters of the Traitors. Number 7, we get to talk about a woman, an icon from the first UK season, and that is Alex, the girlfriend of that magician dude Tom. And she was so rootable because she was a complete mood the entire time. That cast is honestly pretty unlikable aside from a few people, which makes those few people stand out as more enjoyable figures, as you will see on this list. But Alex was a really great underdog figure. I will say that underdog figure absolutely came out when her boyfriend just randomly decided to state that Alex is his girlfriend. And oh my god, the entire cast hating on these two because of this secret is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I think they just might be fucking stupid, cause like if these two people publicly came in as a couple, the cast would have hated them. They don't tell them that they're a couple, and they're still hated. So it was kind of relieving to see Alex express all of my frustrations with those idiots in real time. There is so much potential for her to go extremely far in that game. So she was a mix of rootable and fun to watch, as well as pretty good at the game. And the only reason she was taken out was because she denied being a traitor, which was high-key dumb, but whatever, I'll ignore it because I like her. That's why she's not higher on the list, but the body of work we did see was plenty good enough to get her on the list as one of my favorite characters in the show. On to number 6, an icon in reality TV, back to the US franchise, and specifically in Season 2, I loved watching Sandra Diaz-Twine play the Traitors. Obviously, such an icon in the Survivor franchise by being the first 2-time winner of Survivor. But what made Sandra so great in this season to me, aside from being Sandra, was the way she maneuvered the game as a faithful. There's almost nothing I enjoy more when watching the Traitors than seeing a faithful play this game optimally. That will show to be very true later on in my list. And aside from that person left to be revealed, Sandra played such an amazing and satisfying faithful game because she didn't play in the confines of the Traitors. The Traitors at its simplest form is where the Traitors have to survive until the end and the faithful have to find the traitors and vote them out. But the game is not that simple, nor should it be played that way if you want to actually win. Sandra realized the goal is to not find the traitors, the goal is to survive. Nothing matters at all if you are not at the end with a chance to win. It doesn't matter how many traitors you take out, they're always going to recruit more to keep the numbers, and the recruited traitors are always harder to find because anybody could be a traitor that wasn't before. So why put that energy into the game? You have to play this game like you would Survivor. It's a numbers game at the end of the day, and that is what Sandra proved. Her game was to get close with as many people as possible. Her hands were in every cookie jar, and she voted out anybody who didn't benefit her game, whether they were a faithful or a traitor. It was so magical to see people talk in this game about numbers and alliances as opposed to faithfuls and traitors. Pair that with some iconic fights she got into, Sandra was wonderful to watch all season. She only lost because she's Sandra Diaz Twine, and they were never going to get her to the end of the game, so you can't even hate. I love this run by Sandra. Into our top 5, and we are staying with the US seasons of the Traitors for a bit, except this will be from season 1, and it's a Big Brother legend and icon of the show, Rachel Riley. Like with Sandra, I can have some bias because I knew Rachel from before the season, but also like Sandra, I think she delivered in every aspect. Rachel was not afraid to be loud and wrong. Her feud with Kate is forever infused into my mind because it was simply iconic. Rachel is competitive as hell, and a game like the Traitors brought out that competitor in her again and showed she can make great TV. And her banishment blindside was possibly my favorite moment of that entire season. She's so me-coded, I'm sorry. I've played some online reality games, and I'm the exact same way. When I'm in these games, it's strictly business. We're playing a game, and I will do everything in my power to win. Before and after the game, I'm fine and not a psychopath. But in the moment, none of it's personal, purely game, and that is what I respect so much about Rachel. And watching and rooting for her in the season ignited my love for Rachel Riley again. So hell yeah, she's top 5 when it comes to favorite characters in the Traitors. Number 4, funny enough, is another person from the US franchise, the only 2-time player in the history of the Traitors thus far. It's fucking Kate. Specifically Kate from the Traitors Season 1. I think she's great in both seasons for sure, but after rewatching both seasons, it's so clear to me, Kate is the star of Season 1, and it's not even close. Her confessionals are some of the best I've ever seen in the show, constantly just shitting on the entire cast for being stupid, and making fun of them because she doesn't even want to be there. She's been ready to get banished ever since she lost to her Bravo friends. Honestly though, I think the most compelling argument I have for why Kate was fucking amazing this season was that she made the challenges watchable. Something that nobody has been able to accomplish in however many seasons of the Traitors so far. The challenges suck, but Kate made them at least somewhat interesting. I'll never forget the barrel throwing incident when she willingly just threw away money just because she was bored. And of course, she had the feud with Rachel like I mentioned when talking about Rachel. That was so iconic to watch them just hate on each other. That is the reality TV beef I need. The main difference between Season 1 Kate and Season 2 Kate is I think she just hated everybody in Season 1. So she was more willing to just do whatever the fuck she wanted because she didn't care about these people. While Season 2 Kate actually liked her cast and had feelings or whatever. So she was more game focused instead of entertainment focused. And I don't hate people who are more game focused, as you will see in a later entry for me. But for Kate especially, she's here to provide the drama and entertainment while on my screen, and that is what I look for, and that is what I was drawn to. And that is why that specific version of Kate is at number 4. The top 3, kinda. You'll see what I mean in a bit, but for number 3, I'm so excited to talk about the queen of extreme chaos at all times, somebody who doesn't get enough recognition, I feel, and that is Maddie from the Traitors UK Season 1. I remember Maddie standing out to me on my initial watch of UK1, but oh my god, she was the star on my rewatch. I love her so much. She is unapologetically herself, and that was the biggest thing that drew me to her. She has her opinions and has her theories and sticks to them no matter what anybody says. It's very Zach and Matt coded, and I clearly have a type with these 3. But more than anything, she doesn't take anything personal. She sees the game as the game, and that is fucking awesome. When she was on a cast that took literally every little thing extremely personally. Oh my god, was it a breath of fresh air to see her vocally state that nothing she does or says is personal. That is so satisfying. Even if she got a raw deal, because a lot of people in that cast just fucking sucked. It doesn't matter. Her rivalries felt endless and enjoyable. Her versus Meryl was great to watch because Meryl is genuinely one of my least favorite people to ever compete on the Traitors. I think she just sucks in every aspect, but whatever. Her versus Wilfred, oh my god, she had him clocked from the very beginning and nobody listened to her. The traitor that nobody seemed to figure out, she had figured out. And that was such a fun storyline to see her consistently come after Wilf while he tries to survive. Her versus Aaron again and again was great because Aaron was annoying with how personal he took everything, especially from the women. But, I'm not saying anything, it's just an observation. But Maddie for me was the star faithful on that season and saved me from going insane with everybody else on that cast. A wonderful character who needs more love, especially on that season. Well deserving of being top 3 on this cast. Top 2, baby, and I'm kinda cheating with my number 2 pick. This is actually 2 people, but I hope when I reveal them to you, you understand why it felt right to group them together. The only true bright spot in the Traitors Australia Season 2, I have Annabelle and Luke. Now originally, I had them both as separate people on this list, and pretty high on this list, number 2 and 6 respectively. But the more I thought about it, I realized I enjoyed them both for mostly the same reasons. And I would be redundant. So because I make the rules here, I put them both together as one placement. And was able to add somebody else to the top 10 who would not have made it originally. And I also don't have to repeat myself for 2 of the people on the list, so it's a win-win-win. But Annabelle and Luke were the only tolerable part of that dreaded season of the Traitors. Such rootable figures that had great minds for the game. Annabelle specifically. When you have the 2 traitors clocked so fast, which both of them did, that was so satisfying to see. And if it wasn't for the rest of the cast being stupid as fuck, they would have been the heroes, and that season I think would have been so much better if Annabelle and Luke came out on top. But I know I've grown attached to these 2 when I had a genuine meltdown seeing them go out back to back in a banishment and murder respectively. Like, I was so devastated and destroyed. So their impact has never been lost on me as a fan. And when you pair their likable nature with the gameplay potential and being the only good part of that season, they're always going to rank high as being the it duo of the Traitors and be my joint number 2 on the list. And we've made it to number 1. Probably a very different choice than what most people might be thinking or expecting. The top choice for me personally was Paul from Traitors Australia Season 1. Oh man, Paul was a bundle of laughs when he would walk through the breakfast room. Oh, Paul, you jokester, you. Oh my god, the memories we had. Alright, I'm joking, obviously. Who the fuck is Paul? Serious now. Of anybody who was a faithful in the Traitors franchise, the person who was my personal favorite character without a shadow of a doubt was Jazz from the Traitors UK Season 2. Yes, I am dead serious with this pick. I loved Jazz, and I loved watching this journey on the show. Mostly because I feel I related to him so much on a personal level. When it comes to the gameplay, I felt he looked at it the way I want people to look at the Traitors. Kinda like Sandra did, but to even a better extent. He found out who the Traitors were due to his deduction, but he never made that public knowledge or made it a mission to go after those people like Paul or Harry. Because if he does it, it only leads to one of 2 things. Adds another mystery traitor, or makes him a prime candidate for murder. Both of which are worse than keeping the traitors in the game. The way Jazz's mind for the game works is what I aspire to have and do, and genuinely is how I've played these online Traitors games in the past. This is the model I want people to use as a faithful because you are put at such a disadvantage as a faithful. So don't play into the Traitors' advantage. Try to create your own advantage, just like Jazz did. But even aside from that, if you ignore the gameplay aspect of it, this is such a personal pick because of Jazz's story. He has trouble trusting people, and that is extremely difficult in a game all about trust. And even after all that he's shown, he never truly had a person or somebody who trusted him 100%. Something I also recommend that you need no matter what in the game as a faithful. Both of these things I relate to heavy, and from episode 1 until the finale, I lived and died with Jazz. That was my guy, my rooting interest, my hub, my person. I wanted him to take it all. And when there's been no other faithful that has gotten me to express those feelings or emotion, Jazz was the easy number one pick. It's never going to be the popular pick, but it's extremely personal to me, and I hope you guys can see why I feel Jazz is one of my favorite players to ever compete in the Traitors franchise, and my favorite character of all time. Another day, another Traitors video down. When I get into this Traitors mood, I can't do anything but commit to the bit. I love this show, and I've been wanting to do an in-depth exploration of the show for a while now. And we aren't even done yet. Expect some more Traitors videos, including the ever-enticing season ranking. That will be a fun time, and I hope y'all are ready for it. But we aren't fully committed to the Traitors on this channel. There are so many more videos ready to go, some big projects too, that I can't wait to have released for you all to enjoy. We can let the good times roll all the way to the end of this video. If you made it to the end, I love ya, platonically of course, and I will undoubtedly see ya when I see ya. Bye-bye.